Welcome to the March 3rd, 2017 edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on the Jefferson County School Board announcing on Thursday that Superintendent Dan Mcminimee will, quote, step out of his role effective immediately. Mcminimee will be available throughout the end of his contract in an advisory role, but Chief School Effectiveness Officer Terry Elliott will serve as acting superintendent at this point. Patty Cahoon from Westward, this was somewhat of a stunner. I mean, his contract is up, I guess, in June, but to be out effective immediately seemingly shows there's a little bit more drama behind the scenes. Your thoughts?
Well, it shows that the Jeffco School Board has been changing a lot lately, and depending on who's in power, it shows how long the superintendent is going to be there. Cindy Stevenson didn't last long when the new school board makeup came in, and now that it's reversed the other way, he didn't last long either. He's going to be collecting a paycheck until June. You think at least they could have him mopping up the floor in the gym or something, keep him busy. It's amazing just how profligate people can be, school boards can be with the taxpayers' money.
David Kopel from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. From what we know so far, do you think this is handled the right way, seeing the changes we've seen at the Jeffco School Board?
Yes, because their theme is the Empire Strikes Back, and the Death Star is going to eliminate all resistance. And the superintendent, nobody said he was doing a bad job or wasn't capable or was obstructing the policy of the new board. But he's still a unpleasant reminder of that brief period when the Jeffco board was run for the benefit of students and families rather than the benefit of the blob and the National Education Association and the rest of the unions. One of the school board members in the reform board said something stupid about changing history standards, and the Empire was able to leverage that into a very expensive Washington-funded campaign to get rid of the reformers. That succeeded, they won, and so all remnants of the brief, the Prague Spring that Jeffco had will be erased.
One of the many things I totally admire about you, David, is you can go from George Lucas land all the way to Prague Spring in one point. That's very, very well done. Penfield Tate joins us, attorney with QTAC Rock, also a longtime state lawmaker. It occurs to me that a lot of people get really active and either angry or at least excitable about national politics and something that happens in D.C. and they said this and I can't believe this, where it may never be a policy that really affects them. But when it comes to a school board, this is going to be very likely going to affect your own backyard. If you live in that county, you're paying money out of your pocket that goes directly to policies you're going to see affect schools and the kids that live right there in your neighborhood. From what we can see from this announcement, is this kind of what to be expected, or is a little bit something more there because it's Jeffco? It's a huge district.
Well, I think it's what to be expected for the time being. And to borrow from one of David's analogies, the only thing that's changed is who's in control of the Death Star this cycle, because that weapon's been used to wipe out boards and superintendents. Cindy Stevenson, now Mcminimee, and when the board changes again, there's going to be another shift based on whoever they hire to fill the role now. That seems to be the dynamic at work in Jefferson County. What's going to be interesting is to see if some moderation and compromise ever settles in, not just with the board, but with the people that elect them. Remember, these boards are in place because that's who the voters in that county keep putting in office. And so the voters there have had this radical shift to one side or one extreme or the other, and I think we may continue to see that for a while, particularly if one faction feels that this superintendent got mistreated. They may mobilize and strike a coup on the board, and we'll see the whole thing all over again.
Clearly destroying the Death Star is not as easy as shooting womp rats back home. I get your point.
That's exactly right.
Natasha Gardner, articles editor with 5280 Magazine. It seems that Jeffco has bought some time to, now they have an interim superintendent, which they made very clear in the press release is not in the running to become the next superintendent. So they bought themselves some time to get the next one. What do you think we'll see in the qualities, or at least what Jeffco is going to be announcing as what they're looking for in their next superintendent?
Well, when they when they announced actually this position, and that's what's interesting, is he's stepping down, but the decision to look for a new hire on a national search was actually made in sort of December, January timeframe. So he's known for a while that he could have reapplied for the job, but when your bosses said, we're going to look around, do you really want to reapply for that job? And I think what it seems like we've gotten into sort of a lame duck situation, you know, how, and HR people I'm sure have written books about this, how long do you keep an employee around, how effective are they, what does this do for morale? So some of this is just a very long, drawn-out process. They did in their sort of job search a few months ago sort of talk in vague terms of leadership and change and things like that, but that's all PR speak. That's all, you know, things you put on a job description, and then we'll see who actually comes in. Obviously, they're going to be looking for someone who really sticks to whatever their plan is, and as we've seen with the Jeffco School Board, that can change pretty rapidly.
Yes, it can. That is all the time we have for Colorado Inside Out postgame this week. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.